Story 1. I use a bird application that recognizes bird calls. It may sound dumb, but it helps me feel more connected to the outside world. Story 2. I hold my cat while we look out the window and watch birds together. He purrs and occasionally rubs his face against mine. Story 3. I wake up with enough time to relax in bed before getting up. I have a child now, so those days are harder to come by. Story 4. It is my morning habit to take a 25-minute walk without my phone. It makes me feel 10 times better. Story 5. I wake up very early while the rest of the house is asleep. My cat meets me at the top of the stairs and follows me while I get ready. He drinks from the sink while I brush my teeth, meows to tell me about his night adventures, follows me downstairs for a treat, and walks me to the door. I let him into the backyard and then go to the garage. It's nice having my little buddy with me in the morning. Story 6. I get as overly excited as my dog when I walk in the door. Full-on, high-pitched voice, jumping and rolling on the floor with her, watching her go bananas over my existence. Story 7. Make my damn bed in the morning. Jordan Peterson may be a nut, but he's got that right. Story 8. Blasting my favorite songs while doing a task or getting ready. Story 9. I recently got 2 little pumpkin mugs. I use them for soups, water, and hot cocoa. Story 10. I have a playlist of classic bangers, namely 2010s pop songs, ready to listen to at any time. Even if I'm 2 minutes away from my workplace, I hear the first bit of Get Low and immediately snap out of whatever funk I was in. Story 11. A hot shower and a cup of coffee make my day instantly feel 10 times better. Story 12. Fix the coffee maker before I go to bed. That button push versus going through the whole process is literally 30 seconds of work before I hop in the shower, but it really helps the day start the way it should, without resistance or effort. When I don't, it's early and I'm tired. I'll knock the spoonful of grounds against the holder and end up with a mess on my hands. When I pour the water, because of physics, it somehow finds its way onto the counter. Story 13. Minding my own goddamn business. Staying in my lane. No social media. Practicing gratitude. Story 14. A walk along the beach first thing with coffee and another before bed. Story 15. Give my patients the best treatment and compassionate care they deserve. Story 16. A 10-minute walk in fresh air clears my head and boosts my mood instantly. Story 17. My newly acquired crested gecko is just a little baby. It is no bigger than my middle finger. Story 18. I never regret taking a walk early in the morning. It sets me up for the rest of the day. Story 19. When I receive a notification that my salary has arrived. Story 20. Waking up nice and early. Anytime I do this, my day is easily 10 times better, and I get so much accomplished. Story 21. I work out to start the day. Cycling, swimming, or lifting. Endorphins and caffeine set the tone. Story 22. I am sitting on the couch in the pre-dawn hours with my cat behind me. I am drinking an iced mocha and scrolling through Reddit. Story 23. Lighting a scented candle in the morning and taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply makes my whole day feel calmer and more grounded. It's a small practice that instantly lifts my mood. Story 24. When my alarm goes off in the morning, I roll onto my side, which signals my chihuahua to army crawl alongside me. I hug and massage him for 5 minutes until his eyes close. It is our daily routine. Story 25. I do not touch a drop of alcohol if I have work or another obligation the next day. I am 51 and I enjoy alcohol. Until a few months into the pandemic, I drank on whatever evening I felt like it. I enjoyed the buzz, especially after a hard day. Then one day I just stopped. I became tired of waking up for work groggy, dehydrated, and badly rested. I disliked being grouchy and on the back foot during Microsoft Teams calls or when dealing with a sudden work emergency. I was done checking my bank balance and realizing there was always less than I expected. I used to drink every day or every other day, and in the absence of alcohol, I used the freed up time to study for and pass 2 professional qualifications. Information Technology Infrastructure Library version 4 in Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Now I keep all alcohol to weekends and holidays. If I have work or other obligations the next day, I do not touch a drop. It has been more than 5 years since I changed my pattern, and I still relish waking up feeling rested, alert, and refreshed. To anyone who thinks they would benefit from dialing back their alcohol intake, just stop. Keep it for weekends or, even better, for special occasions. It is easy. If you use alcohol every day or every other day, you are consigning yourself to living life on hard mode. Alcohol might make you feel good, but it is not necessarily your friend. Story 26. Probably starting the day by praying and eating a healthy breakfast really makes a difference. I do not know. Story 27. Connect to nature. Gaze at a tree, listen to a bird, feel a leaf, check your houseplants and watch your fish. Take a moment to connect with another species. Story 28. I get up before dawn when no one else is awake. I make myself a cup of coffee, play Immaculate Grid, and do the New York Times spelling bee. It is quiet. I sip my coffee and enjoy the silence. In winter, I light a fire in the fireplace. Story 29. Put on my Spotify playlist or watch YouTube videos as I make my bed or get ready. Story 30. When my kids want to talk to me a little bit about their day, I listen. Story 31. Honestly, nothing. If I have a bit of money to spend, I'd buy the specific food I have been craving. Story 32. Affirmations. Read a paragraph to yourself or listen to an audio track. Positive affirmations go a long way. Story 33. Cuddle the cat, then my wife, and if I'm really lucky, both at the same time. Story 34. I eat incredibly delicious, high-protein chocolate ice cream every day that I make with my Ninja Creamy. I love using it. Story 35. Receiving good morning texts from my daughter, staying properly hydrated, thanking God for my blessings, and forgiving myself when negative thoughts come to mind. Story 36. I drive an extra mile to work every morning. Instead of the faster main road, I take the slower scenic route. Story 37. It's not something I do, but my dogs do. Every day, like clockwork, I see them sitting in the kitchen by the door, waiting for me to come home. It makes me forget everything else. I love them so much. Story 38. Yoga after work. While I am on my way to yoga, I am filled with worries, personal and professional. But after Ashtanga yoga, which is similar to high-intensity interval training, a calm comes over me. I am like, fuck it. Whatever happens, I don't care anymore. I feel great. Story 39. I avoided human interaction to avoid being bullied. I avoided talking to my parents about my fears, worries, dreams, and mistreatment because I believed it would keep them from hating me at home. Story 40. That small, annoying task I had been putting off is done. I canceled an old insurance policy and took out an improved one, saving a little money each month and gaining better coverage. Feels like a weight has lifted now that the deadline has passed. I could have let it roll over, but I am free. Often, once you get started, other small tasks get completed as well. Story 41. Waking up early gives me time to have coffee and get ready to face the day instead of rushing out the door. It is a game changer. Story 42. I make it a point to have at least one ridiculously large cup of coffee each morning. It is like rocket fuel for my brain. Story 43. Human contact, also known as a hug, can greatly improve my mood. I often go more than a year without any physical contact with anyone besides a handshake, and I am shocked at how much it helps. Story 44. I'm drinking coffee on the front porch and calling my mom to chat for a few minutes. Feels like a gift. Story 45. When my dog wags his tail the moment I walk in, it instantly fixes my day. Story 46. I try to eat real food because I always feel better. Those saturated fats hit a certain part of my soul, probably just my arteries though. Story 47. Waking up early to drink my coffee in silence with my cats lying on me. Story 48. Cleaning my apartment before work helps me relax because I know I will come home to a nice, clean place after a long day. Story 49. Taking a few minutes each morning to express gratitude for 3 things in my life makes my day much better. It shifts my mindset and helps me focus on the positives. no matter how small they are. Story 50. A hot cup of tea in the morning and 10 minutes of relaxing music set me up perfectly for the day. Story 51. Getting some sun, no matter what, be it 10 minutes outside your porch or balcony, walking, jogging, or sitting in a nearby park. Next, I would buy a drink at a coffee shop and read, color, or watch my favorite show in the company of others. Story 52. Pack my gym bag as soon as I get home from work, before the night begins, to ensure I am ready with no excuses in the morning. Story 53. I feel so motivated after exercising, and I can let go of a lot of my frustrations. Story 54. My first cup of hot coffee in the morning, made by me with the right amount of cream. Nobody messes with my coffee. Story 55. I get up 39 minutes earlier than necessary and sit in my recliner with a heating pad on my lower back, my shoulder, or both. I usually wake up in a lot of pain. Doing this while it is still quiet helps my muscles relax so I can be productive during the day. Also, hugging my kids. Nothing makes my soul happier. Story 56. I used to be so happy when a bowel movement came out clean because I did not have to wipe much. I got a bidet, so now it is clean and quick with one flush. Story 57. I tell myself every time that everything will be all right, that my time will come soon, that I should give my best, and many other motivational things. Story 58. Take a 3-kilometer walk every morning. Sunshine on my face before breakfast is a game changer. Story 59. Seeing one of my plants flower, a new leaf grow, or the silhouette of my bonsai early or late in the day is just beautiful. Story 60. I make my bed. I am convinced something bad will happen if I do not, but either way, I feel 100 times better when I leave for the day with my bed made. Story 61. I really like this question, and many of the answers are very nice. For me, anything that makes the next day a bit easier helps. Tidying up before bed, laying out my clothes, and similar small tasks. I also enjoy going for a walk while listening to an audiobook. I have found many good audiobooks through my library. Story 62. At the park, when I remove my dog's leashes, they look back at me for permission to run free. When I tell them to go, they both look so happy. Story 63. Hold and pet my Labubu while I browse shopping apps. I'm not buying anything. I'm just adding items to wish lists. Story 64. Being in bed, tired, not having to wake up early the next day, and dozing off to some Bailey Sarian. Story 65. Not smelling my neighbors using drugs. Not hearing my neighbors. Not struggling to pay for things. Trains not being delayed. I want the girl I like to text me. Friends reaching out to me. Food. Story 66. I cuddle all 3 of my dogs before I get out of bed. Then wake my 12-year-old so she can climb into bed and hang out with me before I leave for work. Story 67. Writing down 3 things I am grateful for every morning instantly shifts my mindset for the whole day. Story 68. I once told my child that a forehead kiss melts my worries away. Now, every night at bedtime we exchange a forehead kiss and go to sleep free of worries with sweet dreams. Story 69. Drink at least half a liter of water and stretch immediately after waking up. Story 70. Vinicius Jr. might be a good person to answer this question. Story 71. I remember that no matter how tough it gets, I always make it through. Story 72. Eating a warm breakfast instantly makes my day better. Story 73. Enjoy the food I eat. It is not a chore. It is a moment of pleasure. Story 74. I prepare the coffee pot the night before and set the timer to brew in the morning. Every day I wake up to hot, freshly brewed coffee. Story 75. This sounds like the setup for a joke about a small penis, so your dad. Story 76. Daily meditation is part of my morning routine. It helps keep me calm and centered for the day ahead. Story 77. I take a 5-minute walk every morning to start my day. Being outside helps ease my mental load. Story 78. Today I ended my relationship with my alcoholic and abusive boyfriend after he strangled me. Story 79. Finding a truly funny Reddit post and the comments that follow is a real treat. Lately, Reddit has been slacking, or I am slowly dying inside. I just do not find anything funny anymore. Story 80. I practice Tai Chi twice a day. It gives me energy in the morning and helps me decompress before bed. Story 81. I have a big bowl of oatmeal with all sorts of fixings. It keeps me fuller longer, feels less indulgent and more nutritious than other breakfast options, and sits on my stomach better than greasier, fattier foods. Story 82. Animals having fun, such as dogs playing with a ball or cows allowed outside for the first time in spring, are genuinely happy. Story 83. Seeing my son first thing in the morning is the best. He is always so happy to hug me, and we brush our teeth together before school. He loves me so much. He is the light of my life. Story 84. Writing a Reddit comment that gets upvoted. I am hoping this is one. Story 85. Drinking coffee with my husband and just hanging out. Story 86. Yoga. Just 15 minutes in the morning changed my entire life. Story 87. After years of being extremely shy, I started an online dance class. Just me in the room with people from all over the world. I love it. My depression often leaves me unable to do most things, and I don't feel like joining the class most days, but I push through. By the end of the class, I'm 10 times better. Story 88. In all seriousness, sit on the toilet before I go to work. Story 89. It is something specific to today, so I took my medication for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and it did its job. I stopped trying to look happy for the sake of others. And what do you know? I am not completely wasted at the end of the day. Story 90. I wake up early enough to cuddle my dog and take her for a 1-mile walk. By the time we are finished, I feel awake and productive, and I still have the whole day ahead of me. Story 91. Grounding myself helps me be present and allows me to concentrate on what is important to me. Story 92. I enjoy listening to music, especially discovering obscure songs with excellent production. Story 93. I once installed a shelf to store tools that had been disorganized. It was so level and firm that I was very happy. Story 94. I try to make a habit of doing the McGill Core 3 exercises when I wake up. Core stability was never something I thought about, but after a lower back injury at work, I cannot imagine a day without them. Even on my break, I have much less back pain, my menstrual cramps are more manageable, and walking feels lighter. I highly recommend them. They are simple, take only a few minutes, and the benefits are remarkable. Story 95. I cook enough for a few days so that when I get home from work, I can relax. Story 96. Talking to my girlfriend in the morning instantly makes every part of my day better. I guess that happens with love, at least according to older people. It's true, but many are cynical about it. All I know is that talking to her gives me a better day and the motivation to go to work. Story 97. I taught my dog how to give hugs, and he gives me one every time I get home. Story 98. On workdays, I listen to music on my commute. It turns what many regard as a soul-crushing trudge into an interesting, varied experience. I make a point of listening to new music constantly, so what many dread I look forward to each morning. Many people talk about life as if things are set in stone, saying you will think or perceive certain things in a particular way. It is nonsense. How you perceive something is entirely up to you. This realization helps me get through life. I will not blindly accept what I have been told I must see a certain way. I decide for myself and am better for it. Story 99. Lying in bed, pretending to be asleep while the alarm goes off, until one of my cats climbs on my chest and gives me nose bumps to wake me up. It is the best part of my day. Story 100. My 4-year-old randomly comes up to me, tells me I am their hero, and then leaves. Story 101. I clean the counter and kitchen sink before bed. It is nice to wake up to a tidy sink. It adds a little joy to my day. Story 102. I am left alone, even though I get no more than 8 minutes twice a day. Story 103. I bury my face in my cat's warm belly before the cat decides I am the enemy for the day. Story 104. I fill a water bottle and put it on my nightstand before I go to sleep. That first sip in the morning, before I have fully opened my eyes, is such a game changer. Story 105. Coffee prepared the night before for easy consumption in the morning. Story 106. Wishing others a good day feels wholesome and beautiful to me. Story 107. Favors for my future self. Some small examples related to mornings. Get the coffee pot ready to brew the next morning. Take the trash out the evening before trash day so I do not have to do it in the morning. I work from home and use my gaming Windows computer desk and peripherals for my work laptop during work hours. At the end of the night, if I have been gaming, I swap all the cables back to the work laptop so I do not have to do it in a hurry before my first morning meeting. Use a pill organizer and pre-scoop fiber and protein supplement powder into sandwich bags. Pop open the pill compartment for the day, dump them into my hand, and swallow with water. Do the same for supplement powders straight into a shaker bottle, the same one I use to take my pills. Turn the coffee maker on since it is already set up. Compared to opening each pill bottle, opening the protein powder to scoop it, measuring a spoonful of Metamucil, scooping coffee, and filling the reservoir, these tasks are tedious and feel massive when you are still waking up and in a hurry because you overslept. It adds up. Nowadays, even my most hurried mornings are pretty relaxed and easy. It is no trouble to stage the coffee maker while I wait for dinner the evening before, refill my pill organizer on Sunday after using the last compartment, and prepare supplement powder bags once every couple of months by doing several at once. Story 108. Meditate in the morning. This made a huge difference for me. Story 109. I make a point of jamming to music first thing in the morning. It works better than coffee. Story 110. I started a diary. Some days I have a lot to write and other days not much. But it is nice to read it back every now and then. Story 111. Getting the perfect first sip of coffee. This is basically my daily reset button. Story 112. Quit using so damn much perfume. I am talking to the guys. It will not make your day better, but it will make everyone else's day better. Story 113. Putting my phone on Do Not Disturb for 30 minutes and pretending the world doesn't exist. Story 114. I am actively gleeful about getting into bed and loving my mattress. I celebrate the lush comfort of bedtime instead of my old habit of staying up late out of spite. I am more alert during the day because I get enough sleep and no longer stay up late to feel fulfilled. Story 115. Keep a to-do list. It frees my brain from having to remember everything. Story 116. Every morning I tell myself it is okay. At night, before I sleep, I tell myself you made it. Story 117. I go for a morning walk almost every day. If I wake up sad or anxious, which I often do, it helps. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.